Guillermo Mesh in the post-production edit room. Danielle Baxter introduced herself to the show. The show, Ecotopia, May 24th, was dedicated, the entire show, to Danielle and Scott's upcoming bike tour. So you're going to pick this up maybe 10 or 15 seconds after Scott Grist introduced himself. But this was just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to share some time and space with not only Danielle and Scott, but some special guests that came into the studio to wish them well here on People Powered Radio.
Just reconnection to nature in general. And now I take people out on free nature hikes in the park just to get them more familiar with their area and their plants and everything, just because I think that people's disconnection from nature is one of our biggest problems, causing most of our problems. So, that's me in general. And now we're out on a journey to find some new stuff.
Awesome, because I met you guys. It was such a blur, that whole thing, doing the stream walk for the Beck Creek cleanup. But I met both of you guys. I met both of you guys in nature.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Okay, so how the heck did you guys meet? At a survival training class, perhaps? How did you guys meet?
No, we actually met at the Boys and Girls Club. About 3 years ago, we both worked for the Chico Boys and Girls Club. Scott worked with the teens doing survival skills, and I worked with the younger kids, 5th and 6th grade primarily. So we met, started hanging out. We went out in nature together, and it just took off from there.
Well, you guys can really get behind the show this Saturday at 1078 for Boys and Girls Club then, right?
Yeah, totally.
Awesome, 7 p.m.
It's a great organization.
It really is. Awesome. All right, so where did this beautiful sojourn idea that Danielle and Scott's bike tour, actually I told them out in the studio, I love that your name goes first, Danielle and Scott. That's how we did it in New England, Peg and Jess for my parents. But where did it come from, and how did you guys nurture this? Where did this all come up from?
Well, we've been really dreaming it up for about a year now and preparing and figuring out exactly what we want to do. But the idea stemmed from just, I guess, wanting to do more. We had an example. My awesome cousin Christina did a solo bike tour, Pacific Northwest, similar to what we're doing, and just totally loved it. Said she stopped checking off the boxes of life and started living it. And that really inspired us. And we wanted to get out of the current system and really start doing things that are more progressive and more prevalent to sustainable living. But we thought this would be a great way to do it. So, we've been figuring out exactly what that looks like for the past year.
So you guys been working on this a whole year. That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe even longer. I mean, it started from just wanting to kind of run away into nature and get out there and just experience life. But Christina's bike tour really kind of sent us in that direction of doing it on bike. And it's even better because we just sold our car, so now we're completely carless. It's all going to be powered by our own bodies, which is even better for the environment and being able to experience nature in a more connected, real way.
That's awesome. I've been carless for, it's be the 4th year, man. I
Nice.
haven't actually driven a car in 4 years.
Great.
I haven't had a bank account in 3. I'm like going back in time, and I'm listening to punk rock. So pretty soon I'll be 16 again. It's like Benjamin Button.
We're coming back to the old ways for sure.
Awesome.
We are, and I guess maybe before we hit upon a little bit of this, your bike tour site and stuff like that, I was like thinking, why did this issue connect with me so much? And I think there's a couple of reasons. One, in the early 80s, man, I lost my license for DWI. I drove a bicycle everywhere, a Univega Super Sport. I'd actually done centuries. I've done a lot of biking because I had to, on the roads, and even during the winter. The only thing we would skip was the black ice. So that kind of thing really, incites me for what you guys are doing. That'll be awesome. I was a pedal masher, so I didn't have any clips. You guys going to pedal mash? You got clips?
10 minutes ago, we were just talking about it. We're really torn. It's one or the other.
Interesting.
We're doing a lot of research, and we're going to pick one or the other, but not
sure
yet.
Yeah, pedal mashing, you just get on it and you go. There's no complexity. I kind of like doing that.
Yeah.
And then actually, July 2012, I walked out my door, just like you guys, only I walked. Gave up all my stuff. It was in a 5x10 storage and was going to walk the entire Central Valley, but decided to stop in Chico.
Yeah, it's been quite the experience getting rid of all of our things. It's insane to realize how much material items you've accumulated over the years, and it just feels absolutely amazing getting rid of all the things that are unnecessarily stored in our homes, on
crazy.
our persons, everything. So having everything that we own in our bike bags is a great feeling. It's an amazing feeling.
So you guys one-upped me because I had a small storage. You're like, no, I upped you. I've got everything in my bike bag, so pretty much everything.
Yeah, well, with the caveat of 1 or 2 boxes of sentimental items that are going to be staying at my grandparents' house in Reading. So
Man, that's the things I wanted to get out of the storage that I just did, last week.
right.
So, it's funny. Maybe ask the sanity check. My son at the time was about 20, and I said to him, Eric, I can't believe this, man. I said, I haven't touched 90% of this stuff in 2.5 years. It was like I had 3-bedroom, huge 3-bedroom apartment. I hadn't even touched any of this stuff.
Exactly.
It's insane.
Yeah, and that's the reality for most Americans, honestly.
Yeah.
They just accumulate things because it's pushed on us, and we just, for some reason, feel like we need to do that. It makes us richer or fuller or whatever it is, but it's really the exact opposite. Being mobile and being able to pick up and go and do what your heart and soul is calling you to do is really where it's at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that stuff really holds you back. I mean, the things you own end up owning you for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Big time. And then I think the other thing is, kind of like the stuff that you guys do. I'm a huge watershed guy. That's where I kind of cut my teeth. I actually did some filming in Auburn State Rec area and did some actual activism. It's kind of fun since I'm a homeless advocate here in Chico. I'm not as popular with the mayor or most of the council members as I would be going back to Auburn, California. Last February, a friend of mine came up from Protect American River Canyons and Canyon Keepers. They wanted me to speak about this. And I led a hike. I have a big hiking group. We walked along. We met the senators and the whole thing. But the actual mayor of the Auburn came up and shook my hand. Thanks so much for speaking, which made me really well aware of that, power of voice and power of being heard. I mean, even if people don't come up and shake your hand, you're getting your message out there. What would you say to that, Scott? And what message might you want to add on to the whole watershed idea?
Well, nature in general just needs to be respected more. And I think most of the destruction to the watersheds and nature in general comes from people's disconnection to it. So they don't realize or remember that we are connected to it and we are one with it, and our life source is us. And when you destroy that, you destroy yourself. And when people don't realize that or forget it or are in denial about it is when we start to see that suffering of the watersheds and our natural areas.
Yeah, because that's what that hike that I led was all about. It was actually they're going to do a free-flowing dam, so it was just when the river rose, it would generate hydroelectric. But that was the idea: get people out there to lower Lake Clementine, and and see the beauty of it. Because once you connect with it, you're kind of like, this is too precious,
Right. And that sense of getting your message out there really resonates with our trip specifically, because we want to be able to do this wholeheartedly and spend as much time as we can and as much time as we want without other distractions, doing things that promote sustainability and doing sustainable work trade, and learning about things that are going to mitigate climate change effects. And we want to be able to do this in a way that shows others how they can change their lives also. So really being using that as expression in a way.
Just your physical actions is an expression of, how other people can kind of look at what you're doing and say,
Absolutely.
Actions are contagious.
They sure are, Scott. That's funny you say that because I interviewed Scott at the environmental. I know he's sick of hearing this story, but most listeners haven't heard it yet. But I interviewed him at the environmental gathering like a month and a half ago, and I was like, Scott, you got me so excited, man. Let's go. He's like, well, I'm doing a survival skills, in a couple of days. But actually, let's land on that because don't you have a survival skills coming up like in a couple of days, right?
Yeah, Thursday I'm taking another group out in Upper Park at 10 o'clock. We're meeting in Upper Park. Going to do survival skills, wild edible medicinal plants on Yahi Trail. I'm going to do 2 fire by friction, ancient fire making methods. We're going to make some rope out of natural fibers that we harvest. Go over how to find water, purify it, shelter building, tracking, bird language. We're going to dive into nature out there. So
how long are we going to be? Same week, because I'm pretty sure I lined up a ride. I'm pretty sure
I hope you're there.
Yeah, I can't.
It's from 10 to 3.
10 to 3?
It's 5
like a whole
hours.
day?
So bring water and snacks and a notebook if that's your thing to download this information because it's so crucial.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love people-powered radio because the person before me didn't log off of Facebook, and I keep getting these ding these messages coming in. Maybe I should check them. Maybe something's wrong. I'm going to pause for a second, actually, and just play this little clip. You know, when we're talking about what you can do to promote watersheds and nature in general. This was actually a clip that I put together with Protect American River Canyon. They were doing a wild and scenic. It's like one of the most beautiful places. If you ever get a chance to go to Auburn State Rec area, North Fork American River, this is what we're going to hear right now on People Powered Radio.
Imagine wild and scenic forever.
California Wild and Scenic designation will forever protect 16 miles of the North Fork American River from the Colfax Iowa Hill Bridge to Upper Lake Clementine from being lost under a dam's reservoir.
Undammed, free-flowing North Fork American River from its headwaters in the Sierra Nevada mountains to Upper Lake Clementine includes accessible, deep, scenic canyons with a mosaic of diverse, unique foothill plant and wildlife communities. Visitors enjoy fishing, hiking, swimming, whitewater boating, nature study, recreational gold panning, and much, much more.
Well, the fishing's been good. There's hundreds of little native rainbows in almost every hole. We'll throw a lure in and watch them chase your line. It's pretty fun.
Some places are unique and irreplaceable, worthy of protection. California Wild and Scenic designation would help ensure continued funding for the Auburn State Recreation Area while protecting its unique and irreplaceable natural resources.
Dreams can come true. Help protect American River Canyon. Make this a reality by adding your name and email address to the growing list of wild and scenic supporters.
Okay, good.
All right, we're back live. And we wanted to actually just extend a little bit of information about what you guys are doing as far as in social media. So now we're going from nature to social media. Either you could go either boo or hiss or go, hey, I want to know what's going on. But they've got a GoFundMe site, Danielle and Scott's Bike Tour, and that's at GoFundMe.com. And I actually, if you go on, there's two ways to get to this, and Danielle's going to give you another really cool way to do it. But if you go on GoFundMe.com and you just type in Danielle space and Scott space and Scott, you know, it's gonna pop right up. But what was your other link that you were talking about?
Well, an easy way to remember it for me is just gofund.me/Danielle and Scott. But before we talk about our GoFundMe account, we want to talk about really the intention of our trip and the reason why we have a GoFundMe account.
So this trip isn't just to ride a bike across a couple states. We're actually looking for something, and we may or may not find it, but our plan is to stop at as many places as we can, and that's why we're not having any actual ending destination, because we want to go wherever it takes us. And we want to go to organic farms, sustainable communities, intentional communities, eco-villages, people with land who just want to know more about their natural resources and their plants, anyone who's just open to nature or places we can work trade. We're just interested in seeing new communities, places where people are trying to start new communities, new ways of life, sustainable living, so we can get that experience, learn to live off the land, working on the land, get all that experience, meet new people, just have life experiences. So then we can either choose one of those places if it is the right fit for us, or just have the knowledge to start our own. If none of them are actually like in our heart the place we need to be, we will then hopefully have the knowledge to start our own.
Yeah, something that we really value is community, and community in a real sense. So community meaning a higher sense of connectivity to each other and to the land, to growing our own food, to making our own homes, to raising our children in new ways. Outside of regular schooling and public schooling and things like that. All of these things combined is what a community really is, and that's what one of the biggest things that we're searching for. And so we long to meet people who are really trying to start a revolution in the way that we live our lives on the planet, and really return back to the earth and living in harmony with it, to mitigate some of the suffering and some of the negative impacts that are affecting all of us so intensely.
What are some of those, guys? I know there's a whole laundry list, not to get it to be depressing, but what would some of those be?
Overarching climate change. disrespect for our resources and for the planet in general, poor use of our water resources, fracking. One of them, we're huge supporters of Frack-Free Butte County. Dave Garcia and everybody else that's doing that work. It's great work.
Fossil fuel extraction in general, animal agriculture, industrialized animal agriculture, two really big things that are causing a lot of environmental degradation.
And suffering.
Suffering.
This is a shout out to Non-Human Radio because it's interesting. They have a wonderful, it's on vegan and, animal rights. And I literally was ready to say this metaphor that's been in my head for 55 years, and you're going to treat them like I was going to say animals. I'm like, no, you don't want to. I mean, what does that mean? You can treat animals poorly, but not humans. So
exactly.
I stuttered. I'm like dirt. I was like, dirt was pretty good because you can dig dirt, you can throw dirt. But, the whole idea, I think if you're going to make animals suffer, you're just one step away from making, a fellow human being suffer if you're not already,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Totally. I think the best way to mitigate suffering in general is to respect all life on the planet and the life of the planet itself. As much as you respect yourself and your loved ones, just treat everything with that same respect and love, and the planet will give that love back to us.
I got a guy. I'm a storyteller. He's coming on the Without a Roof show. His name's Mark. He did Telebration. He spoke at the Palooza, but he wants to come on the next Without a Roof show, and he has a story he wants to tell of how we had him raking out weeds at the Peace Garden at the Peace and Justice Center, and he called me into the back, and he says, "I really have to tell you, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to be killing these weeds. These weeds, it's so beautiful." I'm like, dude, I love that. He was kind of like a little bit, trepidity. And then the very next week, we were catching spiders. You had to clean the windows, so we're catching them, releasing them. But it kind of fits what you were saying, Scott. Experiencing actions, doing those actions reinforces the fact that all life matters,
Yeah, a lot of people have a lot to say about the way the animals are treated, but not a whole lot of people are talking about the way the plants are being treated. I mean, a lot of industrialized agriculture is exploiting plants also and harvesting them in destructive ways and not giving that respect to the plants either.
Shout out Gork Burns, who did TED Talks up at Humboldt Bay. Beautiful, beautiful spoken word poet, man. But she spent I can't remember how many weeks in a tree, man. Protest, nonviolent protest against logging. And that was some of the more beautiful stories she told me about her experience of doing that. You guys got any background of kind of doing that kind of nonviolent demonstration? Have you kind of, hooked yourself to a tree or anything like that?
Nothing that intense yet. I'm definitely not going to say that it's not likely in the future, something down that path. But really, my answer to that would be that huge shout out to Butte Environmental Council and all the folks that work there, and the Butte Environmental Council board staff members, Robin DeFalco, Natalie Carter, amazing people. And I've really grown a huge amount in my activism, in my environmental activism, since I've been working there. It's a great group of people leading that kind of thing here in this community. So,
well, it goes back to when we introduced you. Is that was my first foray into a Butte Environmental Council led event. So you guys, you did an excellent job, kind of making me go, I like this. So I got kind of more involved, trying to learn more. But at that point, I didn't know anything about it. Now I do. I feel so much more enlightened.
Awesome.
Have you guys been to an eco-village yet? I mean, so literally we were talking about trying to go to these intentional communities. Do you have a background yet of being to any of these, or is this all going to be new? Is this going to be like, boom, I'm showing up at these?
It's going to be relatively new
Nice.
for us. We have quite a few friends and acquaintances, people that we've met along the way so far that have lived in community and have a lot of great things to say about it. We've also heard from quite a few people that it's difficult to live in community in such a close and connected way because it's something that we have to relearn. We got to relearn how to live the tribe. We have to relearn how to connect with each other and communicate with each other daily in our daily activities. We're so used to just living in our own little boxes, not having to communicate with anyone for anything that we need. We buy our own food at the grocery store right off the shelf. We go home and we go to bed in our own, we cook dinner alone or with our families or whatever it is, but really living in a connected way to other people in all aspects of life is what that's about as far as I can gather from this point.
Yeah, and myself, I spent a lot of time in the wilderness, and some of that time was alone. And when you're absolutely alone in the wilderness, living off the land. That's like the most possible sustainable, eco-friendly way to possibly do it. But that's considered primitive. I mean, using no modern technology, I don't think necessarily is our future. So I'd like to combine the modern technology we have to turn it into a sustainable way of living. So you're not just out there as a hermit alone in the woods without being able to share your experience or your story with the community.
So you've actually spent some decent period of time just like living off the land, the infamous living off the land, but literally. So no snacks, no little, let me hit my...
Wild edible plants, building a shelter out of sticks and leaves, starting a fire with just sticks, getting your water from a creek or a stream. Doing it all with what nature provides, because it is all there, and it slowly becomes easier as you sit and listen to nature. She eventually will tell you how to do it.
How long did you spend, Scott, and where was it?
I've done several days, multiple days out with absolutely nothing. I haven't, it's very difficult to spend time isolated in wilderness. The more time you spend out there, the more you realize how much you need people. So I spent enough time to hone my wilderness skills, to be confident enough to do it out there alone and survive and even thrive. But without people and without a community, there's definitely something lacking, and it drives you to come back and then share that experience with others. So then others can have that experience, or it can be shared out in nature, because there's a way for us to all be together out in nature doing it sustainably, not just one person out there alone. But with that being said, much can be learned in nature alone, just sitting alone and listening without all your mind running and the city noises and things that are going on, your timetable, your work schedule, all those things go out the window when you spend enough time alone. And I definitely spent enough time to realize that.
One thing I wanted to add to both of what you said, but initially what Danielle had said about community, I interviewed Mayaquay Ludwig from Ecovillages, the Dancing Rabbit.
Mayaquay is amazing.
That was one of our biggest inspirations.
Was it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Shout out to Respect for Revolution, man, for helping pull that together.
Yes.
But one of the most beautiful things she said, she had this little micro little thing at the end where she tried to combine everything together, but she had a short little piece, 30 minutes on consensus management, but she had the most beautiful thing to say about consensus management. And I'm not going to nail exactly what she said, but she said for the intentional communities, usually what causes the friction or causes them to break up is the community. It's the people interacting with one another. It's not a lightning strike or famine. It's the people themselves. And she said, we use consensus management, but a lot of times that's abused. And she said for consensus management to work, you not only have to love and respect what the other person thinks and says, but you have to embrace it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, she nailed it.
I remember that.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm like, out of the park, man. I've been in so many meetings of consensus. As soon as the person starts, well, I think, and it's like, oh my God, no, you're supposed to listen to what the person said,
Really, really fully listen to what each other has to say.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Fully intentional listening.
Yeah, and so speaking of intention, just bringing it back around, we have a strong intention, like Scott was saying, to share our experiences with others. We not only just want to do this for ourselves, but we want to do it for our families, our friends, and anybody who sees what we're doing. So for that purpose, we did make a Facebook page, linked through my Facebook page, but you can find it at facebook.com/Danielle and Scott's Bike Tour. And then also we did create a GoFundMe account because we want to reach out to our community and our outer community, people that we may not even know yet, and give people the opportunity to really sustain us during this journey and to keep us going, and to provide opportunities for us really, to provide a way for us to keep doing this and to do it fully, and with all the intention that we have to truly try to make the world a better place, really going out and acting. I mean, we could stay here in town and talk about these things with everyone we meet and keep leading hikes, and we could I could keep working at Butte Environmental Council doing all the amazing things those guys are doing, but we are really, really called right now to go explore new things and to go really make a tangible difference in whatever way we can. And something like that takes sustenance, and it's not working a 9-to-5 job. We're really on the grind trying to do what's best for the planet right now. And so our GoFundMe account is gofund.me/Danielle and Scott, if you want to learn more.
Yeah, and that's only if you feel called to donate to us. I mean, so many times when I tell people about this bike tour, their response is, I've always wanted to do that, and you can, but two, if you really can't, like, now is your time to help someone who's actually doing it. And what you can do is donate to us so that we can learn these skills and possibly create something out of it or bring it back to you or to a community. So the truth is that you really can do it, and we are living proof.
You guys are, because I just had the Scott Grist moment when you were speaking, Danielle. I was kind of like, let's go. I mean, the way you spoke, I'm the same way. I'm like, these people are real. They're really doing this. But speaking about people that are sponsoring things, we really have to do a shout out at this point to our wonderful underwriters. I don't even know why I came up with writers. Underwriters. Ecotopia is made possible by the generous contributions of KZFR supporters and by the Chico News and Review, providing Northern California with news, commentary, and entertainment. Chico News and Review is available for free every Thursday at over 600 locations throughout Butte, Glenn, and Tehama counties. They can also be found online at newsreview.com. And by Chico Skywatch, a local not-for-profit group committed to increasing community awareness of deliberate aerosol spraying with jet aircraft. Chico Skywatch believes that fallout from these artificial clouds is contaminating our air, water, and soil, as well as worsening the drought by disrupting the rain cycle. Find more information at chicoskywatch.org. This is a beautiful point in our program with the People Powered Radio to make sure to see if this is going to play. This is all dedicated to Scott and Danielle, plus the Ginger Ninjas. So I reached out to Scott going, what kind of songs could we play? And he turned me on to this really good band. But here we go. Ginger Ninjas. What is this song? Much what? What is this one?
How Much?
How Much? How Much by the Ginger Ninjas. I'm crossing my fingers it's going to play, but it's going to play.
How much? How much do I care about peace? Do I care enough about peace to ride my bike to work? To not say it's too far and instead just move closer? And quit when I get there, say enough is enough is enough, I will not work for the man anymore. Do I care enough about peace to ride and ride and ride, cleaning my mind until I find a real job, working for everywhere, everyone, everything else in the world? Not real like 9 to 5, real like keeps me alive. Not real like Peter Jennings, real like Amy Goodman. Not real like somebody's gotta do it, real like Earth Island Institute, Global Exchange, Doctors Without Borders, South Yuba River Citizens League. Real like if I don't do it, who the hell will? Do I care enough about peace to admit that all inactions are actions and all actions are votes? Not voting is voting. Not voting is voting. To vote with my mouth, my conscience and wallet, and my ballot while I'm at it. To buy all organic, all the time, always, from sheets to roses to underwear to Sprouts. To cause a commotion at Safeway, say, let me know when you make the transition and I might reconsider my decision to never shop here again. To dig up my chemically dependent heavy drinking lawn and replace it for good with a permaculture garden to share with my neighborhood. To UPS 40 pounds of corn and 5,000 gallons of water to my refugee pen pal in Rwanda every day for a year before eating one more mouthful of pig, of chicken, of cow. To build my house out of straw, make it small, fill it with compact fluorescents, super insulate the water heater, make certain every splinter of wood is J Butterfly certified, and once I've built it, to stay home, to not fly. To forsake air travel and its outsized suicidal tendencies for warming up the planet, its insatiable greed for being there and here on the very same day. Fuck those. Enough about peace, to let my fingers do the walking, right out the door of the business as usual yellow pages and into the national green pages every time the American in me can no longer resist the urge to consume. To sell half my shit, then give half what's left away today, except for the television, must be destroyed before maiming the mind of one more little boy. To have just one kid. To adopt between 1 and 88. To meditate on the origins of impatience, anger, and hate, so that I may never yell at any of them or anyone else I love or don't yet love. To spend as much time with them as I do, sending inter-office email at my job, real or not. To remember that the truth has been found. I can't buy from Exxon without Prince William Sound. I can't buy from Chevron without hired helicopters gunning Ngoni to the ground. Not from Shell and that little thing with Ken Sarwo-Wiwa. Not from the Unicals and their Ivy League pals, shilling on Nightline, promoting the new Uzbeki Afghani Osama bin pipeline. And therefore, to commit to a reduction in internal combustion, to admit I'm addicted to my automobile, my own two little axles of evil. I keep finding myself back at the pump with every finger on the trigger. And I know in that moment, they is me, I am them, pushed and sucked and pumped through a dirty oil filter. Do I care enough about peace to sell my car? To hitchhike, but refuse to ride in any SUV-8 commuter. Range Rover, send our black soldiers right over. Jesus Chrysler, Honda, Krishna. I keep finding myself back at the outlet, ready to plug something else in or check something else out. Do I care enough about peace to close the gap, or at least stand in front of the gap with a picket? To never set foot in Walmart, Kmart, Wearmart, Buymart, PetSmart, Starmart, or Starbucks again? How about Home Depot? To stop buying clothes made of oil sewn by 8-year-olds in dark factories on the other side of the planet, sold in stores built on wetlands, farmlands, once quiet lands, so far from where you live lands, so hemmed in by asphalt, big trucks, broken glass and mufflers, so underserved by public transportation that driving there seems like the only reasonable way to get there, but which are too cheap to pass up. Do I care enough about peace to stop buying those clothes? To shop instead at thrift stores, to buy organic cotton hemp recycled clothes made by people I know who live on my street. To acknowledge that peace is redwood trees standing, peace is worldwide family planning.
All right, we're back in the studio live. Scott, we were like jiving to this whole thing. Scott and Danielle, tell us how important this song is to you and how the inspiration for what you're doing, part of it came from this song.
Yeah, exactly. The Ginger Ninjas are a huge inspiration of mine, and they're the first time I ever saw an extra cycle, which is what we're riding on our bikes. I saw them at Trinity Tribal Stomp in Trinity County. They played a show, and they do tours. They're a band that does tours, and they carry all their equipment on their bikes, and then when they get to the show, they power their whole sound system by the crowd riding the bikes. So they carry the drum sets, their guitars, everything on the bikes, the whole sound system, their PA, everything on tour, ride their bikes. And then when they get there, they power the sound system with generators on the bikes that are powered by people in the crowd riding the bikes. So they were the first time I saw anything like that. And I instantly was like, I got to get on board with something like that. So that's when I started researching Extra Cycle. And then eventually, when me and Danielle came up with this idea, it was like, we're getting extra cycles. So we got the free radical attachments on both of our bikes to be able to carry all of our equipment similar to the Ginger Ninjas. And just the fact that they're so into sustainability and everything, it's great music. I love it.
So extra cycles are an extra long cycle, just for the listeners, explain that.
Yeah, it's an extension you can put on a normal bike to allow you to carry hundreds of pounds on the back of your bike without it feeling like it's too much. It still feels like a normal bike that you're riding.
What about you, Danielle? Your Ginger Ninja story. I'd love to say that, Ginger Ninja. I like the name.
Yeah, I think they're totally awesome. I'm obviously behind their cause and what they stand for. I think this song, Scott is actually who showed me this band, and the first time I heard this song, I just could not stop nodding my head yes. Like everything they say in this song is incredible, and it's something that we feel every day, and that we feel their changes that people need to be making in their daily lives. So. If you want a guide to sustainability and compassion, listen to this song.
Awesome. We got some special guests here. Why don't you guys introduce your friends? I was kidding with them. I said, you know them better than me, and I'm jealous to introduce your 3 friends.
Yeah, so Bill invited these guys. It's kind of a surprise. I'm not exactly sure what for yet, but three incredible people that I've known for quite a while now. Kate Wright and David Lyon and Nikki Dow.
All right, let's start with you, Kate. What do you have to say to this wonderful couple? Come on into the mic. Yeah.
I'm going to keep it really short and pretty sweet.
Awesome.
Thanks
Sweet's
for
good.
living the ideals, and thanks for sharing the knowledge as you strive to do. And think it's inspiration. So you two are people I will be following, and I trust the insights that you're going to gain on your journey north.
Awesome. What about you?
Yeah, I only just did meet, Scott and Danielle, and learned a little bit from them regarding the outdoors and stuff. And it's really exciting to integrate, more indigenous knowledge and how to use the land wisely with how we do now, and kind of that thing. And where they're going forward is to just go learn a whole heck of a lot more of it. So, blessings and yeah, we're excited. So,
Nikki Dow.
All right. I have been friends with Scott and Danielle for quite a few months now. We worked on Chico 350 campaigns together and other community events, and I've gone on multiple hikes with Scott and Danielle, and it's just so fun. I was talking to Kate outside the studio about how excited I was for you two, because I feel like just the two of you together is the perfect partnership for this trip. Any kind of outdoor issues that you could run into, Scott is the man that you want to have at your side. And then Danielle, I feel like, is just so good with people that you'll be able to talk to whoever and figure out anything you could need. I'm really excited to follow your journey and your struggles and support you in any way we can from here. So I'm really excited. And jealous.
That is a lot of energy. You break the stereotype so big, Scott, because usually it's so nice because Scott is good around the house. She's like, no, he's good outside the house. I think that's awesome. I'm going to play, actually, there's somebody that couldn't be here that had some wonderful words to say to Scott and Danielle as they begin their journey. And everyone will know who this is. This is Mr. Frack-Free Butte County, Dave Garcia, live here, taped, pre-record, on Ecotopia, KZFR People-Powered Radio.
Yeah, so Scott Chris and Danielle Baxter, they're going to take a trip up north on bicycles. So I'm really excited, and they're excited to do this trip to Oregon, Washington, and even British Columbia. So good luck and have fun.
What do you think the biggest thing they'll learn? I mean, it might be a tough question to answer, but if you could put your little crystal ball out there, what do you think they're going to learn on their trip?
I think they're going to learn to take their time and...
All right, thanks, Dave Garcia from Frack-Free Butte County. Back in the studio. I'm going to lean over here, though, because People-Powered Radio. I was actually talking with Scott at the KZFR tent, the tent. And, I was talking about stuff I was going to loan him, and Scott's like, well, Bill, you need to know we might not be coming back. And I'm like, that might change. I was kind of thinking about it. But, actually... I got a jet boil here. For the people that don't know what a jet boil is, this thing is the most high-tech thing ever for boiling water. But as I get more and more intentional, I like to try to tell people, give things to someone that not that, I can't possibly use this here. But, there might be a point where I could use this, but you guys can use it more. And it's even got, the first thing that goes on those things is the piezoelectric. So I got some magnesium here and a little striker. But I want you guys to have this. And then, every now and again, you'll boil your water and think about that crazy gray-haired guy. in the KZFR studio. But here's your jet boil with a lot of love and
Wow.
been a lot of water boiled in this. This has been tested.
Wow.
So
Thank you so much, Bill. I honestly just want to say thank you so much to everything that you guys said. Kate and David and Nikki, you guys, like, I'm kind of choked up because it's incredible how much support we've gotten from our community. Like,
Chico rocks. Chico tribe.
Yep.
Thank you so much. I mean, we would have done this if we had no support, but just the fact that we met so many people in the last year sharing our passions and our knowledge and our ideas has just brought everyone around. And you know, what goes around really does come around. And now all these people are offering so much to us, and I'm so thankful for it, and I'm so glad that everyone is inspired by what we're doing. It's just amazing that we have so much support from a huge part of our community. Thank you.
I just have to put my programmer hat on and go, you know what, we really haven't talked about your route. Maybe if you could talk a little bit about where you're going to be heading from and where you're going, man, that might be nice. And then you guys can show some more love, your guest here in the studio.
yeah, he's looking at me right now, but the route really is all Scott.
The route is Scott.
As far as directions go, Scott is definitely that part of the team.
Yeah, because we have no like fixed destinations and aren't having any like time restrictions, we don't want to necessarily map out the whole thing and have it always be strict. We really want to go where the wind takes us and where our passions and the people we meet and our experiences take us. But of course, I've been studying maps quite a bit and learning all the different routes. Everyone who I tell, they're always like, "Oh, you're going up the coast," and you know, we decided not to. We decided to go up the mountain roads. We're gonna go in between Mount Lassen and Mount Shasta. So we're literally gonna ride in between those two mountains. And just being on those open mountain roads just sounds amazing. Rather than riding on those busy coastal windy roads, I'm ready to just be out on the open road, looking at those two beautiful mountains.
It's funny, one thing I can add to it, since I walked out of my house just a backpack, and I had this whole plan, like, you know, the little maps and little GPS. By about midway between Sacramento and Yuba City, I'm like, screw this. I'm not even doing what I said I was going to do anyway. So what do you guys got? Your friends here. What do you guys got for Scott? Danielle.
Jeez, just I think it's funny you guys didn't know if you're going to have a lot of support. You can't do something this awesome and just not expect a ton of support. This is really like one of the coolest things. It's probably on the back burner for or just dreams that a lot of us want to actualize right now. And so for those of us who can't really, we live vicariously through people like you guys who go out and do this kind of stuff. This is huge.
Yeah, we hear that so much, honestly. When we tell people about what we're doing, new people that we meet, they say, "What do you do?" And we tell them what we do now, but what we're about to do, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, no way. Like, I wish I could do something like that. That's so amazing. Like, just let it all go and just do what I want to do, like what I truly want to do." And our message is that you can. Is like, we are doing this not just for ourselves. Yes, we're doing it to fulfill you know, what we feel is our purpose at this time in our lives, but we're doing it to show people that honestly, like, following your heart and doing what you know is right is going to do nothing but bring you so much joy and love. And it just shows, like, there have been times in my life where I felt very alone, and it turns out that those times I just wasn't doing what my heart was telling me to do. And it really is, like, incredible to me since we've made this plan, how much support we've got, how much love we have from everyone we meet. And it's just show, like, you get feedback from the cosmos or whatever it is, you know, you get feedback when you're on the right path, and the feedback comes through love and support. So we totally appreciate every bit of support that we get, and we really appreciate you guys coming down here.
Really glad to have you. We're also glad that Ecotopia is sponsored and made possible by generous contributions from KZFR supporters and by Walter Lucas, an insurance agent located in Chico. Walter is a certified agent for covered California individual health plans. Whether you're looking for individual or policies for your employees, Walter Lucas can help put your mind at ease by calling 530-893-0296 or by email at walterlucas@sunset.net. Stress less, live better. Walter Lucas Insurance. and by Star Community Credit Union, a vision of Members First Credit Union serving Chico residents for 50 years. Star Community Credit Union offers checking, savings, credit cards, and loans complemented by their exceptional member service. Star Community Credit Union now serves Butte, Glenn, Shasta, and Tehama counties and can be reached at membersonline.org or by calling 800-303-3838. And we've got, I'm going to be stabbing at this one. They got three different things that come up. I'm thinking the storytellers next, but we got another show obviously coming up after this wonderful Ecotopia show. Shout out to Susan and Steve, who'll be back next week, for allowing us to do this program. We've had one or two callers come in that really, really like what they're hearing. So, I hate that term, any final words, any continuing words as your journey gets closer? Continuing words.
Gratitude. That's what comes to mind for me. Gratitude for this process, gratitude for following our hearts, gratitude for bicycles, and for awesome people supporting us.
Yeah, follow your heart. That's my own advice.
Awesome.
And anyone who does feel the call to support us, we do want to leave an avenue for that. So you can visit our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Danielle and Scott's Bike Tour. And then our GoFundMe account, gofund.me/Danielle and Scott.
And of all the things I'm thankful for, I'm thankful to have heard and not met, but I guess I've met them. I've heard them. The Ginger Ninjas. We're going to take it out with the Ginger Ninjas. Say that. Everyone go Ginger Ninjas. We got to get that on the air. 1, 2, 3. One.
Ginger Ninjas.
Ginger Ninjas. We have not been drinking here in the studio, I promise you. All right. Ecotopia on People Power Radio.
Peace is organic peach canning. Peace is Maya Angelou in the Oval Office, sitting at the big desk. Peace is live music in my kitchen. Peace is your grandma riding her bike to the bus to the farmer's market. Peace is a living wage for the Colombian peasant who grew my cup of coffee. Peace is the collective self-esteem of all the world's kids. And I've got to wondering, if you took all the 10-year-olds in China, America, Afghanistan, Nigeria, and Mexico City and gathered all their self-esteem and put it in a laser beam of light and shot it into the night, would it make it to the Lincoln bedroom? Would it make it to the moon? Do I care enough about peace to cut up my Discover card, send it back to the bankers who are using my money to finance the Three Gorges Dam, to displace 1 million people, brown, voiceless people, to drown the great Yangtze and 5,000 years of cultural history beneath the largest chunk of cement ever conceived by Stanford University engineers? To distrust scientists with technological cures for organizational problems, with DNA cures for tomatoes that ripen, and DDT cures for mosquitoes that bite, with nuclear cures for energy problems, nuclear cures for war problems, nuclear cures for nuclear waste problems. This just in, top scientists today announced that they found a cure for ignorance. All the newsmen blared, if Einstein was so smart, why didn't he see we weren't ready for MC to be squared? To revolt every time some corporation commits inappropriation, steals a word, a plant, an idea, a gene, a famous face, a mental space, a sacred place, a 6th grade class. Get the hell out of my watershed before I copyright our whole language and trademark your ass. To boycott their labels, never worship their stars, carry scissors and markers and stand in the street offering on-the-spot removal of swooshes from feet. To educate myself in the arts of resistance by seeking out the real news in Boycott Action News, in World Watch, in Mother Jones, in Adbusters, in Yes Magazine. To climb and climb up and up the ranks of the ruckus society. To recycle, but only as a last resort, after reusing, retreading, reducing, rejecting, rejoicing, and replacing our throwaway culture. To carry a plate and cup in a bag on my shoulder, ready to hold spontaneous nourishment without notice, without needing virgin old-growth disposable tableware. And when the cashier say paper or plastic, I say no, thank you. To ask questions about everything I demonize, criticize, generalize, jeopardize, canonize, ostracize, memorize, advertise, or supersize. About everything I say I can't live without. About everything I stand for, sit for, work for, play for, pray for, pay for, live for. About everything I eat, buy, do, make, facilitate, drive, consume, produce, wear, think, value, believe, throw away, and leave behind. Do I care enough about peace to light myself on fire on Las Vegas Boulevard? walk the talk, to walk and walk and walk, to walk to the White House, to walk to Iraq, to walk to no place in particular, holding a sign above my head that says, "One walker for peace." Ignoring mind closures and no trespassing signs, testosterone-fueled egos and the intentionally blind, planting tiny peace seeds in every fertile bare patch of human mind that I find. Do I care enough about peace to ride my bike to work? How much? How much? The Stone Age is ending, glass ceilings are descending, the soul shines ascending, and all the man's rules are bending under the weight of the wild women of the world. Break it up, break it up, break it up, break it up. Solar days are impending, the dinosaur days are ending, straightened rivers are rebending, drowned canyons are ascending, 'cause all the dirty dams are bending under the weight of the wide water of the world. Blow it up, blow it up, blow it up, and blow it up. Grand Coulee Dam, Glen Canyon Dam, Hoover Dam, Auburn Dam, Iguazu, and Hello too. Blow them up and blow them, blow them up and blow them, blow them up and blow them up, blow them up. 'Cause otherwise, don't you know you're gonna have to buy yourself a lifeboat